After I got home from work, I thought I'd buy a game for my son. He was into Mario, Sonic, and Donkey Kong type stuff. So I got him a game that I don't think he's ever played. It was Sonic R. It was a racing game, and as I've heard, it was pretty new. I raced home to give him the game. I kissed my wife on the cheek and held her, and she was happy for me getting him a present. Oh, the excitement that filled his eyes. I could tell he couldn't wait to play it. He went back to his room, and I was right behind him to play it with him. A couple of days passed, and he told me he was almost done with the game. I watched him beat the last boss, and he roared in excitement as he beat it. I felt happy for him, and I patted his head and asked how was the game. The peculiar thing was, as I did so, I looked at the credits screen and pointed and said, "What's that?" He said, "It was the Tails doll." I asked what the Tails doll was, and he repeated, "It was the Tails doll, again." I obviously facepalmed and ignored the scenery. I called for him to go to bed, and as he was sleeping, the curiosity got the better of me. I went into his room, very quietly turned the volume down on the television, and was ready to play some Sonic R. Knowing he had already beaten the game, I decided to play through it again through watching him from earlier. I noticed that you could play as this Tails doll. Knowing that this was the main reason that I wanted to play the game, I chose to tag him up with some of the gang, and it was a pretty fun game until I tagged him with Sonic. Right when I hit the button, my whole life changed. My life was in the palm of its hand. It was all calm at first, I must say. The screen shut off with the game, and I let things be and went to bed with my wife. She grasped onto me as I did to her, and we both fell into a deep sleep. At around 2 AM, I started hearing thumps on my door. Keeping it shut, and knowing my son could get the game himself, I just said, "Stop, just go back to bed." And the thumping kept happening. I got very annoyed and noticed that as I got up, there was a little shadow coming from under the door. Nothing at all compared to a regular human-sized shadow. I kinda started freaking out. The word Tails kept popping in my head. I started to slowly open the door, and I heard these very faint words I will never forget again. "You're coming with me forever." It was a doll. An evil, blood-covered, possessed little doll. It was from the game. It had to be. It looked just like it. I screamed, waking the whole house as it began clawing into my toes. Blood was all over the floor, and to this day, my feet ache and are sore. It was growling very aggressively. As my screaming got louder, my wife called the police. It scattered across the floor, running away from me. The screech was awful. It left a trail of my blood behind it. It said that it had what it needed, knowing that it can't finish its job tonight. And ever since that day, I am afraid to go to sleep at night. My sleeping patterns are scattered apart. I go to sleep at around 6 AM and wake up at around 8 PM to begin my day. I know this may sound fake, but it isn't. I swear on my life. I'm shocked to even think about falling asleep at night time anymore. And that, my dogs, was Tails Doll, My Story, written by Yoru Kasai. Hopefully I've got that name correct. And my thoughts on this story? Well, if you couldn't tell, my throat's a bit sore, so my voice may sound a little bit different than usual. So hopefully it didn't hinder the creepypasta narration too much. But what do I think of this story? Honestly, I think it's a little bit better than the original one with Gil and Noah, but that's not really saying much, people. The story is still cringe with the Tails doll coming to life and attacking the parent, But at least on this one, the police officers that come to the scene aren't actual idiots who tamper with evidence to play a haunted game and a Sega Saturn instead of looking for the people who may have taken the kids' lives. Like really, I still don't understand why that's a thing in the original story. But I like how in this one, the wife actually comes to help this guy. The parent isn't all alone, you know, he has people to come back him up. And they're actually able to fend the doll off this time. I mean, it's super small. I guess the only reason he got torn up by the doll is because the doll got the jump on him. So it's totally believable for the man to fight the doll off and get away. Also, I guess it's a little cringe for the Tails doll to say you're coming with me forever. But I feel like if you're going to enjoy this story, you just kind of have to take it as like a little ridiculous story and not focus on it being too real. I mean, this genuinely does sound like a campfire story you can tell to people. It's not the best, it's not the worst either. For me, this story sits comfortably at around a 4 out of 10. The Tails doll has been done to death, yes. I enjoy this attempt a little more than the one with Gil and Noah, I'll say that. But it still does have its problems with, you know, gore, the stuff coming out of the TV. Well, I guess not this time out of the TV, but the Tails doll somehow finding a way to come to the parents' house and attack the dad. Plus some other inaccuracies, like, when it comes to the tag game, you don't press a button to tag the characters in the tag game. You just run up towards them and bump them on the back or on the front, and then you just tag them that way. Also, there isn't a boss in Sonic R. You don't fight anything, it's just a race. Unless they use the term boss to mean the different races that they have to battle in a race to unlock, then it's kinda stupid for them to say a boss because there isn't a boss fight in Sonic R. One thing I can also say is that the story is quite short. It was easy breezy as they say, so it didn't waste our time or drag it out ridiculously long. So this story for me is just slightly below average because of the source material. But in general, it's just kind of a harmless story, you know, a bit ridiculous, but if you can turn your brain off to the whole realism thing, I guess you can find some kind of enjoyment out of it. And at least it's better than the one with Gil and Noah, I can give it that. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the narration. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and hit the bell so you're always notified of my latest videos. And comment down below, what did you guys think of this story? What would you do to change it, etc. But anyways, I will see you all in the next video. Take care, my darks.